and meeting option. You can present it's only save. Okay, so let me present now. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
And can you see the declaration and initialization of pointer screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so as I was saying, sorry for the interruption. So yeah, so it's a dereferencing operator, and there in this PTR you only save the address and not the value, and by using the dereferencing operator you can access the value. That is star PTR. But you can notice a bit of a discrepancy here when you are C out. C out is just a C++ version of printf. So here you don't have to use the type of that specific thing, that is a person d or something like that. So you can directly use cout. So here you are using star ptr, and ptr is obviously pointing to x because you have given the address of x. So it's pointing to the value 10, or basically the memory location where the value 10 is stored. So when you are using cout ptr, then it is giving only the address. When you were using star in the left of it, then you were getting star ptr, that is the pointed that is the value that the pointer is pointing to. But you can notice that when you are actually initializing it, you were using int x is equal to 10. At the you were using int x is equal to 10 to initialize x, but you were using int star ptr is equal to ampersand x. It should have been, it looks like it should have been like int ptr is equal to ampersand x, because ptr should be only having the address. But it's just a notation, a matter of convention, how it's done in C++. So just when we are initializing it, or we're just defining the data type, then we have to always start with a data type star, so that it can understand that it's a pointer. Now, for pointer arithmetic, there are some specific nitty-gritties in C or C++ that you may remember, so that it's easier for you to debug. So the left value and the right value are the same things. It means the same things. And at the extreme right, it gives you the explanation that what it actually does. So start ptr plus plus actually gives you the value of ptr location, but also increments the pointer by 1 unit. That means next time when you use star ptr, you'd be getting the value referenced by ptr plus plus, and not the other way around. So, but on the other hand, when you are using star plus plus ptr, then it increments the pointer first, and then you get the dereferenced incremented address. So because it does the increment first, so because of that, when it uses star again on the PTR value, it will be getting the incremented address. That means, let's say, so if I had a board, it would have been good. But let's say you were using, let's say it's int x10. Yeah. So let's say it's an array where you are trying. See this first example where you are specifying int x5. By int x5, you are referencing to an array that x is an array of size 5. Now you are initializing a pointer that is the integer pointer, which will be referencing to x. So that means it will be referencing to the first location, that is x0. So now if you use the, say in these locations, what values should be there? Say we initialize it with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So in that case, when you would be using the first one, what should be the output? Can anyone tell me? Should I repeat?
So can you repeat the question?
Sure. So here by int x5, we are initializing, or we are defining that x is a integer array of size 5. And then by the next line, we are saying that ptr is a pointer of data type integer, and it will be pointing towards x. So that should be the first location of x, that is x0. So now if you are go and let's say we have x filled by its indices, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the values in x are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in that case, x0 is 0, x1 is 1, x2 is 2, x3 is 3, and x4 is 4. So in that case, if you try to print star PTR, what should it be printing?
0.
Okay, so star PTR plus 1, what should it be printing?
X1.
Right. So like that here, the first location, the first pointer arithmetic example, star PTR plus plus. Can you please tell me what, say PTR's value, the address value is say 100. Okay. So in that case, can you please tell me that after we do this operation, what should be the value of PTR and what should be the value that is, say we are printing this value. So then what should be the value of the printed output and what should be the value of PTR after this operation?
So printed output will be 100 and the value of PTR will be incremented by the scale factor times 1.
So the printed value should be referencing to the first location, right? At first. So it
Yes.
says it should be implementing the pointer. So that means it would be referencing to 101. And then it is dereferencing the unincremented address. So unincremented address was 100. So if we dereference that, we would get 0. That is x0. Right? PTR plus plus, PTR is 100. So the address is 100 at which the value x0 is stored. So that means that the location that it is referencing to is 100. So it is saying that it is incrementing the pointer, the first pointer arithmetic, that is incrementing the pointer, and then it is dereferencing the unincremented address. So what is the unincremented address? That is 100. So if we dereference it, means if we point to it and get the value, then what should be the value? That is x0. x0, what is the value of x0? That is 0. So it should be outputting 0. But after this, PTR has got implemented. That means now it is referencing to pointing to the value, pointing to the address 101. So point is it is going to point to the address 101 after this because we are doing PTR plus plus. First it was 100, now it will go to 101. The only bone of contention here, or what should come to your mind as a conflict, is what is the star operator going to do? It will give you the output of star PTR or star PTR plus 1. So that it resolves saying that it will dereference the unincremented address, which is 100. So can you please tell me what is the output of second?
Wow.
So do you remember already that what the example holds, that the PTR is referencing, PTR is pointing to x0 location, and x0 location address is 100, and x holds the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, just the indices. So in that case, if we do this specific operation, what should be the output? The second one.
So it will give 1.
1. And what should be the PTR's value?
Address
So
of
it
x1.
will be address of x.
Right. So it would be, if it is 100, so it will be 101. So, fine. So now, for the third one, can you say the same thing?
One.
It will give
One.
one.
What is one?
So
The
it will
address
just
is same, it will
evaluate
increase
the
the value.
0.
So it will dereference the pointer and increment the value it points to. What would be the value of x? Can you please tell me? The whole value of like whole array after this operation, and also
1, 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, 1 1 2 3. Sorry, 0 1 2 3 4. Yeah, and so 1 1 2 3 4. Right, because it is first referencing to that star PTR. Star PTR is what is star PTR? Star PTR is x0. So then plus plus x0. What is plus plus x0? That x0 plus 1, that will become 0 plus 1 1. So x0 location is basically getting incremented, nothing else. So it's pretty straightforward because you can see the bracket or the specific. So how it is being done is plus plus is in the left, so it will be done later. So start PTR is already done, then plus plus is happening. So PTR will not get incremented, but the value will actually get incremented here. So in the same fashion, star PTR plus plus will also do a similar thing. It will dereference the pointer and increment the value it points to.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, after doing PTR plus plus, if the initial address was 100, then the new address should be 104 now because it is int. Why we are telling 101?
Yeah. Depends on the, sure. It depends on the hardware that you are working upon. So if in that hardware it's say by 100, if I mean 100 bytes and each integer is of 4 bytes, then obviously it will be 104. But if in some hardware it's say 1 byte, I'm not sure if such hardware exists, but if it does, then it will be 101. Yeah. True. So So yeah, we already went through this probably that pointers and arrays that C++ or C treats the name of the array as a constant pointer which contains the base address. So as we saw here, that int star ptr is equal to x will actually give you the address of x0 to be stored in ptr. So that means that which is the third line, third highlighted line, that int star ptr is equal to ampersand of x0. Ampersand means the address of x0. So it will contain the base address, which can be also written like the second line, which is which is simpler. So now
No voice.
yeah. So now for characters also we can do similar thing, and while like we define arrays, we can define the yeah. So like we define arrays here, we are defining charist here is equal to computer. We can define a pointer variable which can do a similar thing, and it will cp here actually storing the address of the string, and while trying to print out, we can iterate over the whole thing and print out. In a similar way, if we use the CP pointer here, which is pointing to the first location of str character array, then we have to increment the pointer one by one, and we can print out. So let's try to see if we can go for any problem, or before that we can see the reference variable. Yeah. So this is pointers where you use another variable to store the address, and then you use that address so that you can change a value in that address, etc. Reference variable is simpler version of the same thing. That here a reference variable is just another name for that variable which you are referencing. So if you have a variable x and if you have a variable y, both can mean the same thing. That x is equal to 10, y is equal to 10, and if you change y, it will also change x. So here uh, the operator that you would be using is a reference operator, that is ampersand, and the like previously in pointer, the operator that you are using is the dereference operator, that is star. So here, as you can see in the example, that sum is the reference variable or alias name for num. So both num and sum refer to the same memory location. So here, when you are going to do anything, you don't have to use the dereference locator, dereference function. So that is the good thing about it, and you can use it in functions also. Like here, you are in this program where you don't want to copy the whole thing again as an input. So you can use the dereference operator, reference operator, where you are defining that x should be the input, which is a reference to another integer. So when you do cube y, then x is created as an alias of y. So when we are saying x is equal to x cube or x star x, so then y's value is actually being incremented, and y from 10 it will become 10 cube, that is 1000. So you can see the output is 1000. So the same thing can be done using pointers also. Just that in case of pointers, you instead of y, you have to pass the address of y, and um, instead of defining the input to the program as int ampersand x, you have to define it as a pointer, which will take the address of y and will point to y. So you can also return by reference, and in that case, you have to um, you have to use similar operators where cube y you are referencing as num. But if you use here a static variable, then that function's output input will not change over time.
Sir, in the previous example, what you have showed, once can you show that? So like in that function there is void, no sir. Then how can we return anything x?
Yes, it will not return, but because you are taking the input as a reference to y, so x is created as an alias of y.
Okay.
So basically here return x should not be done, but x is equal to x cube is done, and that actually means y is equal to y cube. So when you are doing cube y, then it will when you are doing cube y, then y is being cubed. So when you use C out, then y's value should come out. But here, I mean, void should not be written; it should be int again. So in that case, it is being shown that because it's ampersand, so you are using another alias when you are um, using that reference. So that equal to num means it will refer to num. So when you are doing cout y, then it is actually printing out num because it has become an alias of num.
Sir, and what is that void ampersand? Like what does it mean?
It means the reference operator. So star is the dereference operator, which gives you value in that specific address. So say star 100 or something. That's actually a hex value. So star some value which is the address, then it will give you the value that is stored in that specific location. In the same way, ampersand, when used with pointers, it will give you the address of that specific location. That means ampersand x will mean address of x or that specific variable. On the other hand, when you are using it um, to specify a specific data type, you are using it with a specific data type, let's say int ampersand x, or some specific structure ampersand x, or float ampersand x. In that case, it will just mean that it would be referencing to another variable which has a type integer, float, or that specific structure. So if it is without the data type, in C or C++, it will mean the address of the specific variable. Ampersand x means variable address of x. Ampersand y means address of y. But if it is with specific data type and you are defining it, then it will mean that x is the alias name, which would be referring to another variable of a specific data type, which is written on the left. That is float ampersand x means x will be referring to another variable which is of type float. Like that.
Sir, can you please repeat again that previous slide part, that how you could use that ampersand cube? No,
Sure.
in the next one. It's like a void ampersand cube, so it's like a function, right? So in a function, how in the name only you're using ampersand. So can you please repeat that part?
Sure. So it's saying the return type. Ignore the void part. Let's say this void is equal to int. Okay. So in that case, when you are doing when you are defining a specific data type, you would be doing data type ampersand a specific variable name. So here you are doing the same thing. I hope you have understood the previous example, right?
Yes, sir.
So here we are doing the thing with the input, that int ampersand x is there. So that means x is referring to, x is just an alias for y. And when you are doing cube y, then x is being cubed. That means y is actually being cubed. So when we are printing y, it is printing x, which has been cubed. So it will print 10,000. Sorry, 1,000. So in the same way, here the same concept has been applied for the output. So the first one is not void; it's int. So that means the function would be referring would be an alias for something that is would be an alias for something and that is of type int. So and that would also be the output. So here, when we do cube y is equal to num, that means what does that mean? So y is actually an input, which is so x is actually the input, which is an alias for y. So now x is getting cubed. That means y is also getting cubed. So it becomes 1,000. X and y both becomes 1,000. Now we are returning x. So cube y is equal to something will mean so cube y becomes actually x or y, both the same thing, which is 1,000. Now that equal to num means, so it is a reference operator which has not been initialized and which is referring to num. So it becomes num, which is 5. So now when we are printing y, it is showing 5. So see in the right side also, when you see the explanation, it was previously y's value was y's value was 10, which is also the value of x, which becomes 1,000, and then with the assignment operator cube y is equal to num, it becomes 5 again.
Sir, so if before assigning, say if I just write cube y, and the next statement if I write print y, I mean if I not print see out y, so it is print 1,000.
It should, because it has not been reassigned to something else.
Sir, if we are saying index equal to y, if we declare in main function, what the x is storing? It is not storing the address. Then what it is storing?
Which one?
Sir, can you go 2 slides before?
This one?
Yes, sir. Here, int and sum equal to num. Here we are referencing the variable. I mean, here what we are exactly doing, sir? Are we giving another name to the same address?
Yes. So it's just a language level thing, where in the language you name the variable. Without the name also the variable should exist, and it should refer to some location, right? Now you are giving it a name. It has a property name. So now you are just giving it another name so that the name also referring to the same address. You are creating two variables which are actually twin variables, which refers to the same location.
Sir, can we declare like int and sum, and in the next line sum equal to num? Can we do like that, or we shall declare it in the line itself, like in pointers?
Yeah, you should be able to do, because here also the same thing is happening, because int ampersand x is implicitly already defined, and then you are showing that it's actually reference to y.
Okay, sir. And sir, in the next slide, we are giving the value to the output that is returned by the function. What is the use of calculating them?
Nothing, it's just a concept which is shown here, that if you so the input part is actually more relevant, because you don't want to again and again copy the same input, especially if the input size is large. It will waste CPU time, it will waste memory. So generally we use that part. We don't use generally outputting using reference. But like the previous example, so here the output is also basically already stored, I mean, in the main function. So just using the reference arithmetic, we can see that even if we are not returning, the same memory location is getting updated. So in that case, it's implicitly outputting something that we need. So we don't need to explicitly use a reference for output. This is just a concept that the output can also be used as a reference variable. What would happen in that case?
Okay, sir.
Sure. So yeah, so here there's a simple example that what will happen if we swap, if we use a function that only one example if you can find. Fine. So yeah. So similarly, if we use pointers, what should be the arithmetic? What should be the syntax? It is given here. That for swapping, where uh, we are using int star m and int star n as the pointers. M and n are the, that means m and n are pointers of integer type, which will reference to something that we don't know. So that comes in main part, main function part, that when we pass the address of a and b. So that is equivalent to int star m is equal to ampersand a, and int star n is equal to ampersand b. So when that happens, that means m is referring to a, and n is sorry, m is pointing to a, and n is pointing to b. That means if we change star m and star n, so that would actually change the address of the value stored in address of a, value stored in address of b. So if we use int temp and do anything like here, swapping is done. So here a and b are swapped, and the values stored in location address of a and address of b are swapped. So if we print that, so it would print just the opposite value. So there's only a small difference here from reference. That in case of reference, you are using a alias or a different name, so you can directly pass that specific variable name. So cube y doesn't have to be cube ampersand y. You are not passing the address, but you are passing the variable itself. You are defining in the function that the input is actually a reference to that specific variable which is given as the input. So x is a reference to y. On the other hand, while you were using pointers, you were using m to point to the specific location which is given as input. Location is A's address. So ampersand A. So ampersand here, let me repeat again, is the reference operator, whereas star is the dereference operator. So int star m, and in that case, giving input ampersand A would mean int star m is equal to ampersand A. So let's move to some problem using structures. Maybe just let me check if it is there. Dynamic evaluation is not completed right now. Yeah, so struct 1, 2, 6.
So can you explain the new and delete?
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Can you explain these new and delete operators? Actually, we are not taught these in favor.
It's I don't think it will be needed. I'm not sure it's covered in C or not. So yeah, so new will actually give you a memory of size of the data type that is given. So new int will give you a memory of size int. So if you say int star I is equal to new int, then that location will have garbage value, but you would get a pointer of data type I, sorry, of data type integer, which will point to a location where integer value would be stored, but that right now doesn't have anything. That means you can populate it later. On the other hand, delete the same function, delete is just the opposite function which will delete that pointer. So it will deallocate the memory.
So sir, it is like malloc.
Yeah. So so I guess you know how to use struct. So in that case,
so if I want to use the new function to allot memory to an array of integers, let's say 5 integers, like what would be the syntax for that?
five integers, and like you want to initialize an array, right?
Yeah,
Or
right,
pointer.
exactly. Like we
Right.
use malloc and like we just multiplied like inside like after malloc like 5 times the size of an integer. So how
Right.
does that work?
In this case, it will be new int the square brackets and 5, like the usual way you declare the array. like new int, the size of the array you want to declare.
All right, makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess you all know how to use struct to construct a new structure, which can be a data structure which can be used. Right? It is like how it is defined here: that struct student and variable type, variable name, and like list of variable
Yes,
types.
sir. This one.
Yeah. So in that case, you have also covered linked lists where each of the node will have a specific value, and then it will have the next node's address as the another variable or pointer. So in that case, if you are using a doubly linked list, so in that case, you have to store the left node's address and also the right node's address. So that from one node, if you want to go to the next node, you have the address of right node. So you can just use the dereference operator, which is star, and go for the next node. And when you want to go to the left node, then you can use the left node's address, which is already stored in that node, and go to the left node using the dereference operator, that is star. So that is the doubly linked list. Now say you want to store only using two variables. So previously you were using three variables, that is one value of that particular node, another is left node's address, another is right node's address. Now say if you have to use only two variables, one obviously may be the value or anything else, and another variable. So in that case, how would you write? Can you think of it?
So we can make one more structure.
And in that structure, you would store left node, right node, and right. That's what you were telling?
Yes, sir.
So in that specific structure, both the locations should be stored, and in the original node, only the value and the location of that particular new structure should be stored.
Yes, sir.
But say you don't have access to a new structure, what you need to do is you need to use only another integer pointer. So one value and one integer pointer. Somehow, so there this information will be there, that what is left node and what is right node. You have to encode it in some way so that it can be represented. And you have to implement it in such a way so that at least if you're given some head from which one node's address is given to you, in that case you can traverse left and right of it. Left. So mind that there's two redundancies in a linked list in a doubly linked list. The redundancies are that when you are starting, I mean, there's a start and there's the end of the node, and in both the cases, the left node for the leftmost node, the left address would be null, and for the rightmost node, the right address would be null. So if you're given address of one node that is already in hand, do you need the address of two other nodes? Or if you have one, then you can somehow interpret it given some other value. That's the question.
Sir, if we are giving the address of leftmost node, then we can use the new structure in which only we store the address of next node.
Yeah, but then if you're given like in between some node is given to you, then it will not behave like a doubly linked list, right? That means you cannot go to left, or you cannot go to left basically. How do you go to left? You have been given the independence or liberty to only define one value and one pointer in the structure, in the node structure. And given that, you should be able to traverse both left and right. With some
Sir, can we use the XOR value of the previous node and the next node?
Sure. How do you do that?
Like we take a node and we store the data value, and for the pointer, we store the XOR of the address of the previous value and of the next value.
Sure.
I think that would suffice. Like for any node in between, if we have the pointer to that node, we can take the address of that node and the XOR value stored inside it, and we can do the XOR operation to find out the address of the left or the right node.
How?
So like if we are
Sir, can we use memory outside the structure, or that is not allowed?
You can use memory outside the structure, but that should not be of order n. If n is that should be a constant order.
Okay, sir.
Sir, can we do that the rightmost node of the structure, we can store the value of leftmost node in that, so it will look like a circular structure.
Sure. Then.
So then we can go around the circle.
So in that case, the problem is that for getting the left left's output, you have to use a ON order operation.
Yes, sir.
For right, it will be O1. For left, it will become ON.
Yes, sir.
That's a partially correct solution. But in that case, the overhead will increase. But it can be done in O1 also, using the XOR thing only. XOR or anything else also. XOR is not the only, should not be the only answer. But yeah, the philosophy is same. That the philosophy is that you already know the location of the node from which you are referencing.
Sovik, are you done with the tutorial?
Yeah, just few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
So here the point is that the head pointer will always give you the address of the starting node. And the starting node should not have left node's address location. It should be empty, it should be null or something like that. So it doesn't actually have any information. So you can use that information to your advantage. So in that case, what you are going to do is, as that student said, that you are going to store each address as instead of address of the next, or next means right one, right next or left next node, you are going to combine them both by using a XOR operation. So you have the XOR output there, So obviously from XORD output, if you have to decrypt any one of them, let's say A and C are XORD. In that case, if you want to decrypt A or C from A's or C, you need at least A's value or C's value. A's or C's or A should be C itself. On the other hand, A's or C's or C should be A itself. So in that case, if you have the value of 1, then only you can decrypt this specific combined key. Otherwise, you will not be able to. And that makes sense also because in one value you can in one address location you cannot store both address if you don't use some auxiliary location where you have some other thing which you are already referencing or which was previously abundant, now you are using it. So what are the abundant things here? Here the abundant things are the two left nodes, two extreme nodes, extreme locations. That is leftmost nodes locations and the rightmost nodes location. Leftmost node is always null. So the actual leftmost nodes left location should always be null, and the rightmost nodes in original representation. And rightmost nodes right location would always be null. So now you are going to use it for our advantage. If you're going to use it for our advantage, in that case, only one location has to be stored. So let null be 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0 means let null be 0. So in that case, what is going to happen is the head pointer is going to point to the leftmost node, which has stored a location of the left location of location of age or C kind of thing, that is left XOR right, where left is always 0. So that means you would get the negative means the like not version of the right one. So if you get that, you can decrypt it already. So you can when you go to the next node, you already know the location of the node which is left to the next node. And in that node, you also have stored left XOR right. So if you have the left node's location and you have the left XOR right, then left, then if you XOR, sorry. I could not hear you.
He's stating his screen is not visible.
Yeah, sorry for that. I'm not sure if I can find an example online which has this, or I can jam it, Jamboard. Give me a minute. Can you see the screen? You can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the previous so say there are three nodes, O1, O2, and O3. So O1 is the leftmost node, so it should not have a leftmost a node that is left to it. So we assume the address of the left node as 0, which is the abundant thing which we are going to use to our advantage. Now, if what I said is it will have obviously values v1, v2, and v3, and also it will have addresses which is that is told, that is a1, a2, and a3. Now, what should the addresses be so that we can optimally calculate the address of the left node and also address of the right node? Say address means AD or something like that, or ampersand. Ampersand should be good. So A1 is actually 0. So how should I write here? 0 XOR O2, because O2 is the right node and 0 is supposed to be the left node's address. What is A2? A2 is ampersand. So so let's write this O1, O2 only as the addresses. So this is again O1 XOR O3. And what is A3? O2 is the left one. XOR, there is nothing in the right, so it would be 0. So now say the head pointer is this H, which is pointing to O1. So we have the O1's address. So now when we go to O1, we will get V1 and A1. So so when we go to O1, we will have A1. What is A1? A1 is 0 XOR O2. So from that we can easily get O2 by again XORing with 0. So we will get the address of O2, that is the next right node, and we already have the left node's address, which is 0. So when you get to O2, what we will have? We will have the left node's address also, which is O1's address, and we will also have A2. What is A2? A2 is O1 XOR O3. This one. So here, if we already have O1, then from A2, how we will get O3, that is the right node's address, is equal to A2 XOR O1. So we get to the next node, and there also we have the left node's address. So when we traverse, we always save the left node's address, and when we go to the right node, we can calculate the right node's address. Do you follow? And similarly, when we go to the left node, traverse through the left node, we save the right node's address, and because of that, we can always calculate the left node's address, because it's just a XOR operation by which we can recover the address which is not given to us or not calculated yet. So the key is that we have the value which is XORed address of left node and right node. And if we have at least one of the left or right node, then we can recover the other one. And because we are coming from one node already, then we will have at least one of the node's address, which was previously redundant when we were implementing it with a doubly linked list. But here we can use that redundancy to our advantage, and we can store with a lesser memory footprint. So fine, I guess now the other TAs can take over, who can tell you about the, if you have any questions about the compilers which needs to be set up, lab setup. Kaushik, Dipank.
So, like, well, we just want to confirm some things regarding the lab. So, like, how many of you have set up the compilers, like for Windows, like the MinGW ones, and for Linux, GNU compilers for C? And if it's all right if you had set it up for C++ as well, but if how much of you haven't set it up for C yet? So, like, yeah, just raise your hands.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
So, like, we passed on a set of instructions for you guys to install compilers, GNU compilers for Windows and Linux systems as well, right? So, like, how many of you have successfully completed it? So, like, that's quite a bunch here who haven't yet finished it. So, like, is the problem only for Windows, or like even in Linux there shouldn't be any problem, right? Like Ubuntu systems, because it comes with the built-in GNU compiler. So I'll assume all of you have raised up from Windows probably, but we are digressing. So the point is, we thought of using online compilers to organize your lab. This will make things uniform. So, like, but we before starting to implement the system, we'd like your opinion, like whether do you guys are comfortable with it, like how many of you have previously used an online platform, like for so any submitting C++ programs or anything? So that's a little less.
So best type of online, that means the CodeSafe ID or Geeks4Geeks ID, like that.
Yeah, like that. Like we wouldn't be making it generic. We'll give you we'll organize the lab as a HackerRank test sort of thing, where we'll given the test cases and all, and you'll just have to program and submit it. We'll evaluate your submissions from there. Like we were planning on that, but we were not sure how many students will be comfortable with this system, this mode of evaluation system.
Yes, sir, that would be good.
Sir, we will still be allowed
Yes,
to
sir.
use it in the offline mode.
What?
Yes,
Hello?
sir, that is good.
Sir?
Yeah, like like some of you may be feeling comfortable, but we were looking for the majority opinion. Like, so like those who would prefer this way of organizing, like you organizing tests in a HackerRank, we'll give you a sample. We'll organize a sample like dummy test sort of thing where you guys can get experience, like how to submit and stuff. But like, or do you guys want to use this mode of evaluation? Just raise your hand.
Sir, it's not the HackerRank like method, then what is the alternative?
What? If not HackerRank?
It's like one way you are saying that we conduct this just like on HackerRank courses, those types. So if not in that way, then what's the alternative? Like, manually you have to send the code.
I still didn't get your point.
He's asking what is the alternative for HackerRank if we don't want this.
Like, yeah, just using your normal you guys, those who are facing problems have to consult friends or like consult people to finish up your installation locally itself. That's the only other alternative. It's either one of these two. So like I assume those who have raised their hands right now prefer like an online ID platform over locally writing your code. So how many do I have?
Sir.
Sir, which people should raise up the hands? Like I thought that if I have if everything is working perfectly, then I should raise my hands.
No. Right now, I want who wants it online mode of like the online ID mode of conduction of the lab.
Okay.
Right now.
Sir, even in the online mode, we could code in our local system and then submit it there, right?
Yeah, that's also fine. Yes, the thing is, we want the compiler to be uniform. So we'll restrict the language over in the IDE platform to like a particular language, so which we want to be uniform, and then you can like submit the code and get it compiled properly, so that everyone's compilation matches. Or it will also help for those who do not have a local compiler installed.
So then, if it is done, then will we get some like practice kind of thing over there also? Like if you upload some questions there, so that we can have a good amount of practice also, if we are new to that such platforms.
Like we wouldn't be organizing a lot. We'll organize one sample test, which should make you make yourself familiar with the system. Like we wouldn't be organizing more than one sample lab or something.
Sir, where will it be held? Like in some standard platform like HackerRank or CodeSafe, something like that?
It will be a standard platform. We'll intimidate you about this later. But right now, this is the main point. Like, do we go for that?
Okay, sir, also like we would like if suppose you give a test case scenario also, like HackerRank has in its platform now. Like if we submit our code, it will like first of all run through some test cases, or we can pass test cases. After that we can submit, so that we can know that in that platform also our code is running fine.
That's fine, but that wouldn't be a complete mode of evaluation, because like most of like a lot of new people who are new to programming have come in, and they wouldn't be able to even get something compiled properly. So we are not actually expecting you to get all the test cases correctly. I mean, you will lose marks if not all of the test cases are not passing, but you wouldn't be losing all your marks. Like most of
yes,
it
sir.
goes
Like
to how you write your code.
Sir, we get that. It's just for our own mindset that it is working fine. Like even if one general test case, like if you give in the question set itself, like this is an example test case. If that is also like embedded in the system, so that we can check that with that test case also it is working. Like HackerRank works now presently. That would be like a relief for us.
Yeah, that's fine. But the thing is, I don't see any hope for this system, because only 43 have raised their hands, and even like out of 120 or 127, like the majority still prefer a local mode of like locally compiling things and submitting through Moodle.
Can we submit multiple times there?
Multiple times within the time limit, you can submit however many times you want, but once the time limit is crossed, like no more submissions would be allowed. It's just like the Moodle system.
And sir, can we use STL then?
Nope. The same constraints still stand there. It's just we want to make it easier for those who are struggling to install compilers in the local system right now. Can someone do a count right now? I might have probably miscounted something. the number of hands raised. I still see less than 50 only.
Sir, can you ask to raise the hands which are not in favor of HackerRank, because many people might just open the meet and leave.
Okay, that's
Sir,
also true.
we might organize a poll, sir, in MS Teams, I guess.
Is there an option there? Let me see.
Yes, sir, that would be better.
Do we have a poll here? I don't think there's a. I mean, I don't see any reliable way of getting you
Can we do one?
opinions.
Who are in favor of HackerRank can raise their hand, and who are not, they can like do something other than raising the hand.
Like, what can they do? I mean, there's just one yes or no option. Like,
Sir, you can put 2 messages in the chat box, and people who are in favor of one of the messages, they will just like it.
So do it one by one. Whoever is not in favor, they can raise your
Yeah.
hand right now.
yeah,
I
right
think
now,
we can-
like, I know Shivansh, you cannot use SQL even if you are using an online editor.
The
Like,
only
even
point
if
of
you submit,
making,
yeah.
the only point of making it online is that some people are having some issues with local compilation. So they're like, if we shift to online, then they don't have to care about how the system works on their laptop. They can just like write the code, submit there, check if the code works, and then finally submit the test and close. That's it.
Yeah,
Like,
also it will be easier for.
Sir, can we get a practice question so that we can understand how the online system is working, and then we can comment whether online is a better option or an offline one is a better option? Because most of the people actually have no idea about how the system is gonna work.
Solving a normal, like, you can just open HackerRank or Hacker Earth and just solve a normal question. It doesn't cost you much. So, like, once if you like to organize a sample lab before we are even sure of whether we are gonna have this mode of evaluation, it's gonna take some time. So, like, if you just want to see how the Hacker platform is working, you can just solve one sample question over there. It's not that hard, but it would take some time. We will not be able to get the opinions right now.
So it would be exactly like what HackerRank follows.
Pretty much. There's not going to be much
So,
change.
but in this case, we won't be able to take file input from a file or write to a file.
Yeah, see, that's not a big problem, right? Because that's the input-output stream. You just take it from the like standard input and output to the standard output, like the like printf scanner thing, and the the online platform will manage the rest. So that's gonna ease the file handling part on your side as well. Effort on the file handling part from your side as well. And if you want, there's option for having custom input if you want to check whether, like, for your own inputs, whether it's working fine or not as well. So, like, let me just ask this. So, right now, those who have raised their hands are in favor of having an online platform, right? Like,
yes, sir.
using online compilers.
Hey, Kaushik.
Yes, sir.
I am actually sending a poll link that the students can use now. Okay, I have kept 3 choices like Linux, Windows local version, or HackerRank, or any online version.
Okay. An option between Linux and Windows would be uncomfortable for the students because, like, they would have to change the OS in itself.
No, so that's,
I think,
like, you can treat both of those as local. I just kept it there.
Okay. Can students, like, you poll multiple times? No, right?
I guess it will track by IP. I don't know, but yeah, please don't poll multiple times.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I have only one query, that if we submit our code on the HackerRank, etc., such platform, so if our code is fails on 1 or 2 test cases, so it will show the test case that which test case our code can't solve that test case.
No,
Will it show
that
or
won't
not?
work. No, it won't work. See, you wouldn't be able to get that option even when you're working locally, right? And we are not going to make that the opposite for the working if you're working in the hacker or the online platform.
Sir, are we also going to have a time limit error when we are using the online ID?
Yeah, it will be during the lab hours, 2 to 5. Like we'll organize the test according to that. Like it would be a hacker contest sort of thing, where you'll have to submit before the time limit ends.
No, sir. I mean that the code should run within a specified time limit. Means.
No.
For all the test cases, a specified time is given.
If you're expecting certain complexities, we'll be restricting the time limit. But if it's a free to solve question with your own, like without any restrictions, we'll have the time limit extended by a lot so that you wouldn't be facing any time limit exceeded verdicts. Yeah, it's pretty much like a contest. And same like a contest, plagiarism will be easily detected. Like wait. Anubhav, is it just me or is his voice is breaking too much?
Okay, sir, I'll write in the chat.
Okay.
Souvik, can you give me sharing rights? The screen sharing rights.
Sure, fine.
Yeah, anyway, from the polling, it seems like lots of people are on Windows. So it's kind of half and half between Windows and HackerRank.
Like exactly 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, lol.
Sir, can you wait for a few minutes if other persons are voting?
Yeah, I guess some 20 more people are left. They can vote.
Sir, that poll is not opening on my system. It is showing site can't be reached.
Oh. Can you try refreshing? I don't know.
Yes, sir, I tried.
Yes, same here.
It's not opening.
Wow. Just these 100 people trying brought their server down.
Possible.
It may be some cookie related thing. They need to activate those, maybe.
Sir, I think you can give both the options that if we want to submit on the that will be better. I think.
Sir, the number of votes
Sir,
is
the number
exceeded
of
the
votes
total
is
number of attendants.
Sir, people are less in this meeting than the votes.
Yeah, I mean, how many students even do you have in overall class? 150, right?
Sir, maybe people are voting with different IDs.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, that's happening.
Yeah, that.
Sir, you can circulate a Google form so that in which all IDs will be recorded. Who is voting?
Yeah, yeah, we can mail that after this meeting. Like,
Or you can
Yeah,
make a poll in Teams only.
Yes,
is
sir.
there an option? Is there an option?
Yes, sir,
I
there is.
like it's at least not in mine because I'll probably
Even
because in a
then,
Linux.
I think we
Hey,
can vote
even
multiple times, sir, in
Where
Teams.
is the
even okay. I mean, if it's
How
about
are there 180 votes in total?
okay, 183. This is
okay, so let this go on. I am hoping
Sir, I
they
guess someone would have circulated this form to some other department group and said to vote for something.
I mean, even if you clear cookies, this is gonna accept multiple.
So does anyone know how to turn it on for Teams?
So we can do one thing. So I hope all of you are aware of the pros and cons of using the compiling locally and using online platform. And another one of Deepang's opinion is that you guys will be more familiarized with this platform because most of your internships and placement tests is gonna happen over there only. So that's one more pro or advantage which you can say can be used for this online platforms. So if you're clear on the advantages and disadvantages, we'll after this session ends, we'll circulate a Google form because this poll obviously is not working because I don't even think there is 183 people in the course registered.
Yeah, some people are telling that you can use the emojis for voting.
Okay. So yeah, it's better to make a Google form where the registered emails of registered students of this course can only fill in the form. After that, maybe we'll decide. We'll mail you the result of the vote, poll, so that you guys know what to expect for the next lab. So, but if any of you can create a poll on Teams, it would be better because I cannot right now because it's not showing for me any option like that.
Everyone can use the emoji only once, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. We can do that. But if I hope all of you are awake in this meeting and just not like some of you said, just opening the meet and sleeping. I'm
Sir,
putting in 3 options.
instead of a poll on Teams, you can create a form with 2 options, sir. 2 or 3 options.
Okay, that's this option which looks good. So you can vote with emoji. Just put a thumbs up button for the option which you like. So just put a thumbs up on with the option which you prefer. Oh wait. Oh my bad. Okay, I think this works anyway. I don't think it matters.
Sir, we can give on both.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on both, it's not a problem, right? It's like same as don't care. Anyway, the difference in between these two only will be taken in account.
And only thumbs up will be counted.
If you guys have a department group, maybe ask those who are not here right now to come in. Maybe I
So
don't
till
think
now, online ID is winning by 20 votes. That's 25% or so.
So no more votes. 55. What's the number of people here? Total people?
147.
That's the number of people in the course, but right now 131 people are here in this
Yeah.
meet.
Yeah, 142 plus 1. Achha.
So a lot of people don't care, it seems, but I'll wait for 2 more minutes before finalizing this.
Online ID would be also better for checking if some people writes complete code right.
So I'm finalizing it right now, maybe. I don't think it's gonna change by much because online ID is still winning. So okay, I guess, does anyone have a serious objection against online ID? And if you have a reasonable justification, maybe we'll consider it. Otherwise, we'll be going for online ID then.
Sir, it's okay, but like I want to say that like a demo test someday would be great. Like
Yeah, we'll
we would,
give it
sir,
to you before the next lab.
we would like to see the system before actually like completely agreeing with it.
Okay. True.
So also, sir, if we for example our code is incomplete, so if we submit that, will it take submission or it will reject it?
It will take the submission. So like all your submissions will be recorded. Your final submission is what is going to be evaluated. Even if your test it doesn't compile, or even if the test case is failed, we evaluate like the way you written your code and how much like you wanted, like how much of the actual algorithm is nearly correct. According to that, we'll be evaluating your code. So it doesn't matter. It's not a problem if you submit an incomplete code either.
Sir?
Okay, we'll send you sample test maybe like by within next Tuesday, so maybe. Oh, before the and you can say whether if you still want this mode maybe or not.
Yeah, I guess one sample that can be sent and they can just familiarize themselves because voting is already done.
Yeah.
So again, voting doesn't make sense.
Again, voting doesn't make sense, but someone just said they don't know how an online ID is going to be, so they don't know. They just don't want to make a decision right now.
Okay, how many such people are there?
Yeah, just raise your hands for this. The others can just put down your hands, like those who have had their raised their hands raised from before.
So can you repeat what you have said?
Like those who don't want to make a decision right now before seeing how the online platform is, raise your hands right now.
Like the online platform is pretty much like the CodeSafe or any online platform. It's easy and
it's much more comfortable. It's like a high performance editor online.
All have used CodeSafe, so it's like that only. It's a HackerRank.
All would be a big overestimation, but okay. Okay, 34 people. Oh. Maybe we'll stop. Let us consult PG sir and AM sir.
Sure. Okay. Maybe we'll send you a sample and find then you can say, okay, right.
Am I audible? Okay. So what you can do is right now you can go and open HackerRank or like HackerEarth. Okay, it's gonna be, we haven't even decided HackerRank or HackerEarth. That's gonna be a problem.
Sir, would it be possible for us to see the test cases if we use an online ID?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
that would still give you an unfair advantage over those who are locally compiling, right?
I mean, obviously not all, but the example cases that you were seeing in the question paper, maybe.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
So like in HackerRank, they give us like 10 example cases which can be later unlocked. So such features will be the like say 5 to 10 such example cases to test our code.
There would be 10 such example cases. There would be the 2 or 3 which will give us example inputs, but the other test cases you wouldn't be able to see it.
There would not be much difference from the local one.
Yeah,
except that
it's just going to be a bit bigger maybe, but they are going to be the general. It's going to be test your code for all your corner cases. That's all.
Sir, in the online platform, how the final handling can be done?
You don't have to do the file handling part. You just like get the input from, if you're using C++, it's like C in and C out. And if you're using C, it's printf and scanf. Directly you can use it. You don't have to do the file handling. That's the...
But in the assignment, there are some questions which are based on the file handling. Then
Yeah.
Something you can check.
So the thing is, you can give a custom input where if you give it as an input, the online ID will take it as reading from a file only. It's not. We'll tell you about that later, but the thing you can note down is like you don't have to do file handling part in the online ID.
Okay, sir.
Only that you don't have to manually type the inputs, and whatever can be done like automatic would be done automatic in case of online compilers. That's the only difference.
Okay. Since around 20-25 people do not want are withholding the decisions, we'll be giving you a sample test sometime soon, and then we'll like reevaluate these opinions. Okay. So like we have asked sir, and sir said to just give you a sample test. So
check if everyone is okay with that, and if everyone is comfortable using the online IDE, I think you will be more comfortable using the online IDE than a local compiler. But please check that. If you are okay, then you can just mail back.
We'll send you a link for the test, like a dummy test sort of thing. By after that, we'll ask your opinions in the next class or by form floating out, maybe. Okay, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
And sir, one more doubt. If we are using an online ID, then we need to write all things from scratch now. No demo code will be provided like we were provided in the first lab.
See, the demo code was provided because people who know only the PDF content do not know how to file handle. Like they don't know how to open files, read contents from a file. Just for the facilitate that, we gave you the model code. But since you don't have to do file handling in an online IDE, we are not going to give you the sample code.
And if any sample code is needed, if had it been given for like say with the question, then it can be directly included in the code.
Yeah, that's it.
Like say the file handling part is written in the input because we don't have any other place where we can include it, or we can mail you a C code. So in case of online compiler, we can directly preload that part if needed. So that's it, I guess. We'll send you a sample and check how many are okay with that.
Okay. See you guys. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.